Okay guys, so today I harvested a whole bunch of basil to make pesto. These are the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to want some lemon, some salt. Usually ask for pine nuts. A friend recommended pistachios, so that's what I'm using today. Some olive oil and some pepper. The first thing I did is I went ahead and got all that basil off of its stalks. I had to do this process twice because I had so much basil. It doesn't have to be super dry. I use a salad spinner. You can also just pat it dry with a paper towel if that's what works for you. Base recipe calls for 2 cups of basil, calls for half a cup of olive oil, half a cup of pine nuts, and again I'm using pistachios today, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, some salt and pepper to taste, as well as some garlic, which I had forgotten for a second, but don't worry, I make sure to add that garlic. So I ended up, because of how much I harvested, having 12 cups of basil to make pesto with. So I was just slowly combining all of this on puree in my food processor. I added a little bit of the olive oil early just to help it combine a little easier. I was just trying to make it smaller in the food processor so that I could process all of it in just one go and not have to do a bunch of different attempts at pesto, all for just one setting. Again, it's important to make sure you rinse off your basil. You don't want any bugs or dirt in there. So I went ahead and got this all mixed up, and while that was happening, I got my pistachios. I didn't have quite as much as I needed for how much basil I had, but it worked. These are already roasted and salted, so I just wanted to toast them up a tiny bit. While that was happening, I added lemon, I added the garlic that I had almost forgotten, just a skosh of salt and some pepper. Remember, I used roasted and salted pistachios, so you don't want to add a whole bunch of salt to that. I added in the rest of my olive oil and I blended it all up. I didn't use as much olive oil as the recipe called for. I just kind of keep an eye on it and see what looks right. I added some Parmesan cheese to the ones I'm keeping out for the week. Let me know if you have any questions.